If you have booked your first international flight, or you're hovering right on the edge of booking one and you feel excited but also unsettled in a way you can't quite name, this video is for you. It's not fear, it's not panic, it's not a fear of planes, but a constant mental checking, like your brain is scanning for missing information. Thoughts like, what if I don't understand the process? Or what if I miss a step? Or what if everyone else knows what they're doing and I don't? That feeling is not a personal flaw, and it's not a sign that international travel isn't for you. It's a predictable nervous system response to unfamiliar systems. If you haven't met me, I'm Mari. I'm a travel advisor, and my job is to understand not just where people travel, but how travel actually feels when you're inside of it. Today, I'm going to walk you through 10 things no one actually explains in detail about your first international flight, so your brain can stop filling in the blanks with worst case scenarios and start working with real information instead. Number 1, international flights feel intimidating because they add layers, not because they add danger or complexity beyond your capability. Domestic travel conditions you to expect shorter, linear sequences of events. You check in, go through security, arrive at your gate, you're at your plane, and you're done. International travel, however, introduces additional layers like passport verification, extra controls, entry controls, customs, and sometimes additional screening. None of these steps are complicated on their own, but when they're unfamiliar, your brain treats them as potential threats. This is how the nervous system works. It flags unfamiliar processes as risky because it doesn't know yet how they end. The key thing most people don't realize is that international travel is not chaotic, it's actually procedural. Every step has a beginning, a middle, and a clear endpoint. Once you understand that you are moving through a sequence that millions of people complete every day, the anxiety shifts from, what if something goes wrong, to, okay, I just need to follow the order. Number 2, when people say they're nervous about international flights, they are almost always anxious about logistics, not flying. In all of my years working with travelers, I can count on one hand the number of people whose anxiety was truly about being in the air. The overwhelming majority are anxious about missing information, making a mistake, or not understanding what's expected of them. Airports are high stimulus environments with constant motion, announcements, signage, and time pressure. When you add unfamiliar international procedures, your brain tries to track everything at once. That mental overload is what creates anxiety. It's not fear, it's actually just cognitive strain. Once you understand that what you're feeling is logistics anxiety, not fear of travel itself, it becomes something that can be solved with explanation and structure instead of willpower. Number 3, airports are not designed for experienced travelers only. They are explicitly designed for people who don't know what they are doing. This is one of the most important mind shifts. Airports are not expecting you to arrive knowing the process. International airports in particular are built assuming travelers are jet lagged, distracted, stressed, tired, or completely new to the experience. That's why signage is large, repetitive, icon-based, and often multilingual. That's why agents are stationed at decision points. That's why lines are organized with barriers instead of relying on people to self-sort. You are not being evaluated, you are being guided. Once you start treating the airport like a test that you need to pass, and you start treating it like a system you are moving through, your nervous system can relax enough to actually notice what's in front of you. Number 4, the part people fear most, immigration, is highly structured and it's far less personal than it feels. Immigration tends to loom large in people's minds because it's unfamiliar and it involves authority figures. In reality, immigration officers are not there to assess your worthiness or catch you doing something wrong. They are processing volume. Their job is to move thousands of travelers efficiently while confirming basic eligibility to enter the country. The questions are usually straightforward and repetitive because the system is standardized. You are not expected to give elaborate explanations. You are not expected to anticipate trick questions. You present your passport, answer honestly, and move on. The emotional intensity people feel around immigration comes from unfamiliarity, not from actual risk. Number 5, customs is about declarations, not interrogation, and most travelers pass through it without incident. Customs anxiety often gets lumped in with immigration, but they serve different purposes. Customs is about what you're bringing into the country, not who you are. Most travelers either have nothing to declare or declare simple items like food, gifts, or alcohol within allowed limits. The forms are straightforward, and if you are unsure, asking an agent is normal and encouraged. What makes customs stressful for first-time travelers is the fear of accidentally doing something wrong. In practice, the system is designed to catch intentional violations, not honest mistakes. Understanding that distinction alone relieves a significant amount of anxiety. Number 6, connecting internationally feels stressful because time pressure and unfamiliarity stack, not because connections are fragile. Connections combine multiple stressors: new airport layouts, additional screening steps, and a visible clock. When something feels rushed and unfamiliar at the same time, your brain interprets it as danger. This is why realistic connections times matter so much. Airports that handle international traffic are designed to funnel connecting passengers through clearly marked routes. Even when things don't go perfectly, missing a connection is not catastrophic and it's not uncommon. Airlines have rebooking protocols, and this is exactly why thoughtful planning is not about perfection. It's about reducing unnecessary pressure on travel day. Number 7, arriving earlier for international flights is a buffer for predictability, not a sign of chaos. Being told to arrive earlier for an international flight can make people assume the process is unpredictable or inefficient, when in reality, the earlier arrival window accounts for additional steps like document checks, larger passenger volumes, and longer boarding processes. That extra time is there so you don't have to rush through those unfamiliar procedures. When travelers cut that buffer too close, anxiety spikes because urgency activates the nervous system. When you arrive with time to spare, the same process feels manageable and even calm. And this is one of the simplest but most powerful ways to change how international travel feels in your body. Number 8, you are allowed to pause. You are allowed to ask questions and move deliberately without inconveniencing anyone. Many first-time international travelers feel like they're holding people up if they stop to read signs or confirm directions. This belief creates unnecessary self-pressure. Airports are built for flow, not speed. Stopping to orient yourself, verify information, or ask an agent is normal behavior, not an inconvenience. When you allow yourself to move at a human pace instead of trying to perform efficiency, your decision-making improves and your stress decreases. Number 9, the anxiety usually drops sharply after your first international arrival because your brain now has a reference point. One of the most consistent patterns I see is travelers being surprised by how quickly the anxiety disappears. The first time through, your brain doesn't know what comes next, so it stays alert. Once you've completed the process even once, your nervous system updates its understanding. Familiarity is one of the strongest regulators of anxiety. This is why people often say their second international trip feels dramatically easier, even if it's to a completely different destination. The system is no longer unknown. And number 10, confidence is not a prerequisite for international travel. It is a result of supported experience. Many people wait to feel confident before booking an international trip, not realizing that confidence comes from doing something new with even enough information and support. Feeling unsure does not mean you are unprepared. It means you are human. The goal is not to eliminate uncertainty. It's to remove unnecessary stress so the experience can teach you what you need to know. This is where good planning matters, not to control the experience, but to protect your energy so you can actually enjoy what you've worked so hard to get to. If international travel excites you, but you don't want it to feel like a test of competence or endurance, that's exactly how I support my clients. The goal isn't to make travel impressive. It's to make it feel grounded, steady, and expansive instead of overwhelming. You will find some helpful resources below, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop a comment. and I will see you in the next video.